Ghosts can be defined as some sort of appearance of a dead person, generally in the form of an apparition. About 32% of the population have been found to believe in the existence of ghosts. According to a recent CBS poll, 22% of the population believes that they have been in contact with a ghost at some point in their life, while 78% believe that there is some sort of afterlife. So what's the driving force behind the belief in the paranormal? Carl Sagan said that people that want to believe will find any confirming evidence to do so, no matter what. So what kind of evidence is there? According to the Atlantic Paranormal Society, two common tools used for ghost hunting are the electromagnetic field detector, or EMF, and the infrared camera, which displays the heat radiating from objects. An EMF detector runs about $100, while the infrared camera can be over $1,000. This picture is supposedly the heat signature of a ghost. Let's take a second to decide why this does or does not make sense. This doesn't really make sense because if you remember previously, ghosts tend to not be physical, thus not having a physical heat signature or the ability to produce heat. I decided to do a little investigating of my own, so I traveled down to Oklahoma's very own Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. According to Weird Oklahoma, the tower near Lake Jed Johnson is haunted. There have been unconfirmed reports of a female screaming heard across the lake, supposedly radiating from the tower. It is thought to be of a woman that drove her car off the edge of the dam and died. In addition, there was said to be a man that had committed suicide at the base of the tower, and the people have heard his footsteps inside the tower. And finally, the wildlife in that area have been reported to exhibit abnormal behaviors at nighttime, where they form a circular formation around the base of the tower at night. During my investigation there was no paranormal activity. Some would say I need to keep trying or go back during the nighttime hours if I dared. All these reports are unsubstantiated and subjective. Sounds that can be coming from other sources, and the animal behavior is probably not bizarre, just not understood by you and me. This type of investigating is confusing with actual science by people. They use big words and have nifty little instruments, but their data and their methods of examining data are subjective and unrelated to supporting the existence of ghosts. Subjective measurements include the use of personal experiences as supporting evidence and interpretation of the data from instruments like the EMF detectors and infrared cameras. In the following interview, Rosemary Guiley, who is a paranormal researcher, discusses her perspective on paranormal activity and provides evidence for it. Try and pick out why what she is saying is pseudoscientific, but listen to how it is presented.
I'm Rosemary Ellen Guiley. I'm a full-time paranormal researcher and investigator. I've written 31 books on just about everything you can think of in the paranormal. I've been a consulting editor of Fate magazine, associated with them since 1992. And recently I became associate editor for the Journal of Abduction Encounter Research, JAR, which is an online magazine. I'm very active in investigating haunted sites, mysterious places. I like to investigate the correlations between phenomena, how everything fits together, and I look at folklore, history, people's experiences, very interested in how we experience the paranormal. I became interested, like many people, because of my own experiences, and I had a lot of them in childhood. I think that many children have psychic and paranormal experiences. Sometimes they kind of fade into the background as children get older, but psychic ability runs in my family, so it was very much in the foreground for me. I was very interested in the experiences, especially of my mother, and in my own experiences in developing my psychic ability. So that propelled me deeper and deeper into the paranormal, and in turn the spiritual and mystical. I have to sort of explain some of my early experiences in hindsight, because when you're a kid, you don't always know you take things at face value. And take, for example, invisible playmates. I think now that what I was seeing in the invisible playmates were fairies or elementals. I think that's a very common experience with children. I also had visitations from, at the time I called them angels, and I think that they were angels. They were, they felt heavenly to me, and they sang to me, especially at night when I went to sleep. I was not a sixth sense child, i.e. like the little boy in the movie I See Dead People. I didn't have very many of those experiences. It was mostly otherworldly. One thing I like about Fate is that, like the rest of my work, it goes into every aspect of the paranormal. All kinds of phenomena, spiritual and mystical, history, folklore. I love interviewing people. I like to go to events, network with researchers. I really like to hear about people's experiences and try and understand the circumstances that brought them to their experience, how and why they had the experience, and then what they do with that. How do they integrate it? Fate looks at all of those things. I have a really exciting project that I'm working on. It started out as an article, and now it's a book. It's on shadow people. And this is one of those phenomena that cuts right across the board. Shadow people are dark figures that mostly visit people at night. You wake up in the middle of the night and see a dark silhouette standing beside the bed. It's usually wearing a hat. It seems to be male, and you know that it's solid and that it's watching you, even though you can't see facial features. Well, I started out researching this phenomenon because it seemed to be related to hauntings, to poltergeist phenomena, to nightmares, the nightmare hag. And I found over the course of time that there was a very strong ET connection. Not that shadow people accompany ET experiences, but many people who have had close encounters, contact, and abductions are also experiencers of shadow people. So I'm exploring that connection more deeply now. I've got a very large database, over 400 personal original accounts of shadow people experiences that I've collected over the years.
Here's some problems with her claims. She stated repeatedly that her findings are based off of personal accounts and intuitive feelings. Personal accounts are not evidence for anything. She talked about correlations between phenomena, which sounds somewhat intriguing, but the correlations are based off of personal accounts and other subjective claims. She's also stating these scarily bizarre claims as fact. And today, science has not provided evidence for the existence of anything that she has said. The following is an actual photograph of something that she did find in her attic, though. For science and pseudoscience, the bottom line is we have to keep them separated.
A man you're talking about. separated. Hey, man, you're disrespecting me. Take him out. You gotta keep them separated. Hey, don't pay no mind. We're under 18, won't be doing any time. Hey, come out and play. By the time you hear the siren, it's already too late. One goes to the morgue and the other to jail. One guy's wasted and the other's a waste. It goes out of sight of 1,000 before. No one's getting smarter, no one's learning this more. And never-ending spree of death and violence and hate. It's gonna tie your own rope, tie your own rope, tie your own. Hey, man, you disrespected me. Take him out. You gotta keep them separated. Hey, man, you're talking back to me.